So I honestly think I have some of the best POV quality on YouTube. And I'm just going to give away all the things that make it good in one video. So by the end of this video, you'll know all the kit that you need to get brilliant POV. You'll know all the techniques you need to get brilliant POV. And I'm going to give you a few little extra bits, tricks, and things to think about when you're recording POV. There are a few things you will need. Number one, a camera. I absolutely love the DJI Action 4. It is the best quality of any action camera I've used thus far. So the way you mount this onto your head is this is a cap. We use a hat clip, and then we just use a single mount, and that goes on your head like so. We'll get into this a little bit later on, but you do look like an absolute idiot. You get used to it. And the angle that you set this to is incredibly important, and I will explain this all in just a second. The other thing that's really important is audio. Here's what it sounds like directly out of the camera. And bear in mind, the camera is right by my mouth. This is basically the best positioning you could possibly get. And here's what it sounds like with a good microphone. You can see it's a massive difference. Now this is what I use to start my channel. It's a Tascam DR05, and it's an audio recorder. And what you do is you get one of these, what's called a lavalier microphone, and this clips down here onto your shirt or onto your seatbelt or wherever you want to clip it, plugs into here, and now suddenly you've got good audio. I started my channel with just that system, and I used that for a long time, and it's very good. The thing that made me hate it is you've got to put fucking batteries in it. The upgrade is to get yourself, once again, DJI. Honestly, they make the best product. And then you've got these things. You've probably seen these in YouTubers' videos. I'm wearing one of these at the moment, and you just hit record. It's idiot proof. It's so good. I love these. You get two of them, so you can use one for your voice and then one for the exhaust or the engine sound. Brilliant stuff. Absolutely love it. You can use a GoPro if you want. You can use different microphones. These are just ideas and types and categories of products that you can buy, but anything will work. Let's get on to how to actually use these. Okay, so you've got the camera mounted now. One thing to think about is the angle of the camera, and this is deadly important. So, nothing up here is interesting to anybody. I think it's very important when you're filming POV that this line, the top of the windshield, should be the very top of the frame in the video, because all the interesting stuff is importantly out of the windshield and the glass, but also you want to see the car. You want to see the steering wheel, you want to see the hands, you want to see the infotainment, potentially you want to see this stuff in climate control, and the manual. So realistically, the ideal situation is for this top line of the windshield to be the very top of the frame, and then you get about half of the frame being what's outside, and about half of the frame being what's in the car. Personally, I think that's ideal. Some people say you should have the bottom of the steering wheel be the bottom of the frame, and that works too, but I find if you do that, and then you've got too much headliner in. It's personal preference and what you think is best. I personally think the way I do it is right. Of course I would. Now, there's two important things to consider when you're trying to get this right angle. Number one is the angle of the actual camera. Do you tilt it up? Do you tilt it down? How do you sort it? That's fine. The other thing that's really important is your seating position. If you think about this, the further back you sit, the wider your field of view. The closer you sit to the steering wheel, suddenly you lose that peripheral vision. Yes, you get more out of the windscreen, but you lose what's going on in the cabin. So it's a tricky one. I think you should try to sit as far back as you can while still being comfortable in the car, because it gives you a better view. You see more of the interior. But some people like a slightly closer position so you see more out the windshield. That's debatable too. Once again, I think the way I do it is the correct way. Sit a bit further back, let me see more of the interior. Sense of speed is very, very important. When you get whatever action camera you get, set it to the widest lens. This is another reason that I really like DJI, because this camera has an ultra wide option, you're looking at it now, And that ultra-wide option does not have weird distortion. If you get a GoPro and you put it in ultra-wide, you get a really warpy sense of perspective. It's not nice. But this DJI action is very linear. It's not too distorted, but it's really, really wide. The reason you need the widest possible lens is because the wider the picture, the faster your sense of speed. Let me give you an example. This is an example of a not wide lens. You can see how slow it looks like everything's moving. Now look at this for comparison. It's an ultra wide lens. It gives a real sense of speed. That's what you want. You don't want the footage to feel slow. Incredibly important. Make sure you're using the widest lens. Stabilization. I'm shaking my head like a madman right now. But you don't feel it in the footage. When you're driving around, taking corners, you're going to be knocked all around the car. You don't want that motion sickness inducing feeling. People hate that. Nobody wants to watch that. So make sure you're enabling your stabilization. But, now this is very important. The more stabilization you have, the more the image will crop in. You don't want a cropped image because you need the sense of speed. So what you need to do is, with your particular camera, whatever that might be, you need to find a balancing point where there is a good amount of stabilization, but not too much cropping into the image. I can't tell you what this is for your particular camera. You got to do a few experiments, go out for a drive, do a clip at every setting, watch them back, decide what that is, show it to your viewers, let them give you feedback. I get feedback all the time, and I adjust my settings based on viewer feedback. There's also something to be said for how you actually record the POV. So you have to be very conscious. I'm coming up to a junction now. I'm going to have to look left and right. And looking side to side is one of the biggest headache inducing things for a lot of people. I've left this in the video now just to make a point. But when you guys shoot your videos, just cut that stuff out. In the real world, you've got the camera on your head. You can't avoid looking left to right, but it really ruins your video. People hate it when you're looking left and right really quickly. It makes people motion sick. It's not nice. So just be conscious of this and either try not to move your head. If you come to a situation where you have to look left and right, make sure you're not saying anything important during that section and just cut that section out. There is also multiple ways in which to do onboard and POV. I regularly do this view where I sit and I talk with my hands while driving. There are other ways to mount the camera in the car in order to get a similar effect. There is one that is between the seats. I'm showing you an example here of how I mounted it. If you have a sunroof, it's way easier to mount, but this is an alternative. Once you've got the kit and you've got the cameras, you can also flip the camera around and use it to talk to the camera. There's 100 different things that you can do. I'm just trying to show you guys that it's not necessarily that you have to do POV in the way that I do it, but just find the way that works for you. Now, how do you get the best quality? Most of the popular cameras on the market right now, GoPro Hero 12, DJI Action 4, and a few of the others, and the older generations too, will all do 4K. I mean, the GoPros will do 5.3K and really high resolution stuff. That's all fine. They'll all do 60 frames a second and all of that. What very few of them will do is 10-bit color. 10-bit color, a lot of people don't understand. And to be honest, it all sounds like witchcraft anyway. It means that you get better quality. The camera can see more of the highlights and more of the shadows, and you can bring those back. Honestly, I could talk for an hour just about the benefits of 10-bit color, but here are some practical demonstrations. Look at this default image right now, and then look at the difference when I bring up the shadows. I mean, it's just a completely massive difference. Have a look at this footage. This is raw out of the camera. I can make it look like this. I can make it look like this. If I'm feeling fruity, I can make it look like this. Transforms the footage, as you can tell, right? Absolutely brilliant. We love that. I personally think DJI is by far the best at this. Just to throw that in there. This video should have really been sponsored by DJI. If anybody has a contact at DJI, please reach out to them and get them to reach out to me, and, you know, like, pay me some money, because I'm singing the benefits of these products at the moment. I'm covered to head to toe. The mic's DJI, the camera's DJI, but I can't complain that the kit is brilliant. I press the button, it does the record, it doesn't lose the files, I put it back on my computer, and it looks good. GoPro doesn't do that. You press the button, it freezes, and then you charge it and it doesn't turn on, and it's just a headache. The final thing I'm going to mention for this video, no amount of camera or kit or anything is going to make your videos more interesting. So, number one, go out during good weather. This is something I've picked up. I noticed that when I go out in poor weather and it's raining and it's a bit miserable, people don't enjoy the videos as much. So find a nice sunny day. You see this? This is lovely. This is brilliant. Right now is about 4 o'clock. If I wait today until about 5, 6, 7 o'clock, it's going to be sunset. You're going to get golden hour. The video is going to look phenomenal, right? Do that. No amount of camera kit or microphone kit or anything like that is going to make the video better. Just make the video better. And secondly, find something interesting to show or talk about. On channels like Autotop NL or Tedward or the Topher, you'll see they have interesting cars. The reason you watch those videos is because you want to see the cars. Now, I don't have access to a ton of cars, so I've tried to make the things I talk about interesting, right? If you're just going to sit there and provide no value, but you have the best camera equipment with the best color grading and the best microphone, nobody's going to watch the videos. Show us something interesting that we haven't seen before, and ideally record it on a good camera. That's one thing to think about when you're thinking about POV. My name's Mick. I drive cars. I didn't do much driving in this video, but peace.